Meeting will begin in 1 minute. If you plan on speaking to the council, please check in with the city clerk so that we can get your correct name and address down, written in. Thank you very much. And we'll start at 6 o'clock. Meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, so will the clerk please take attendance?
All council members are present, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Please approval of the agenda. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Please take the roll.
Brink. Aye. Collins.
Aye.
Niemeyer.
Aye.
Tilton Burn.
Aye.
Wendell.
Aye.
Avery.
Aye.
Bacon. Aye.
Okay, item 4, open forum. Is there any member of the public who wish to counsel on an item not listed on tonight's agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to the item of business. Consent agenda. Item 5 is the approval of the consent agenda. Are there any items that need to be removed from the consent agenda? Seeing none, entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second, is there any public comment on this item? None? Does the council have any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Collins.
Aye.
Niemeyer. Burn.
Aye.
Wendell.
Aye.
Avery.
Aye.
Bacon. Aye. Brink.
Aye.
Okay, item 6, presentation, proclamation 211 Helpline Center Day, February 11th, 2022. Anna and Heidi are here to accept the proclamation. Okay, next thing on here is item 6B, SDSU Student Association report, and Anna's coming up.
Greetings, Mayor and Council members. I'm Anna Shane, the Government Affairs Chair for the SEC Students Association. We have a lot of things that we've passed, mostly in regard to legislative session, so I'll just run through those pretty quick. But the first one is in support of House Bill 1024 and some self-support tuition rates, which will just affect a few of our classes, but still just be a reduced cost for a few classes that students take. One in support of House Bill 1137, which will be supporting the $1.9 million appropriation for high-performance computing, which is also a board priority. Supporting House Bill 1245, which would allow the Board of Regents to equalize the general fund, which would increase the amount that SDSU gets per student by a couple $100. So that's something that we're supporting. Opposing House Bill 1252, the creation of Office of Public Policy of Events at all the board schools, just because we see that we already kind of have all of the events on campus that this office would provide. We also have the documentation already that this would be requiring, but there's no avenue for funding, so that's why we're in opposition to this bill. And then also supporting any state appropriations towards scholarships. So this is more of a blanket resolution, just that we can go out and lobby for any increase in scholarships, like the freedom or the opportunity. We also passed our budget philosophy, which is kind of just the factors of how we evaluate different organizations in our budgeting marathon, which is next month already, where we fund all of the clubs. Also have taken a couple trips to Pierre. Last week, a group went out to testify in favor of the indoor rodeo facility, which did not make it out of committee. And then today we went out in favor of the cyber egg program appropriation, and then also the addition to the opportunity scholarship and that increase of funding, and both of those moved on today, so that was exciting. Moving on to university updates, Junior Day was this past Saturday on campus, and there was a record number of 468 juniors on campus, and they were also invited to the women's USD SDSU basketball game, so that was a really fun day. Free SDSU masks are available in the student union, and the university also sent out information on how students can receive other types of masks. Board of Regents Economic Impact Study came out, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen, but kind of just evaluating higher ed in the state with that third party. And it was estimated that $2.1 billion generated from higher ed for the whole state. SDSU is 48% of that, $2.1 billion. $936 million a year is SDSU's impact on the state, and over $50 million of that is in Brookings County alone. So that's my report, and I'll stand by for any questions.
Thank you, Anna. Have any questions? Nick?
Anna, I'm really encouraged to hear that you all have adopted a new budgeting philosophy. I think that's a great step forward. Would you be willing to send it to us?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. I'm just interested to see what you've included in your philosophy.
Yeah.
Questions?
Thank you.
Okay, item 7, contracts and change orders, discussion and possible action on the 2022 outside agency funding recommendations. Paul Brasino, City Manager, and Heidi Gullickson, our United Way Director, will review this item.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council members. City Council approved the 2022 budget, which contained roughly $2 for outside agency projects. This was an increase from $1.4 million from last year, which was $1.4. Approximately $240,000 was budgeted for social service agencies in the 2022 budget, which increase in that expenditure. Guidance from the City Council for funding priority was given in the following areas: affordable housing, arts and culture, youth development, diversity, economic development, education, literacy, environment, government stewardship, and health. This was done last fall by the City Council to create a rubric. Heidi with the United Way and volunteers review all applications received, and based on available funding and the rubric, a recommendation for social service outside agencies is presented. Of note this year, there were 2 new agencies that requested funding. Once again, anyone can make these requests of non-for-profit agencies, and approximately $135,000 more in request than what was available was received through this process. I would further note that the community-wide survey is currently underway to determine the use of the city ARPA funds that we have received and will be receiving later this fall. Staff will have a proposal in April based on information gathered from our partner agencies and community-wide survey. A portion of the ARPA funds could be utilized to offset the needed the need realized through outside agency funding process. This includes the mental health needs shown before you today. However, much of these funds, or all these funds, will be one-time funds, but much of the outside agency needs are ongoing or operational. Heidi with United Way is here to present the recommendation for council, and city staff does recommend approval as shown tonight.
Hello, again, Heidi Gullickson with United Way. As we see, and like Paul said, the dollars that we had to work with this year were $235,000. The request did come in higher than last year, and so being able to kind of read through all the applications, going through the process, knowing the background on these organizations, and I will say that every organization up here, you can see that we felt were worthy of support by funding. We also know that some organizations have other avenues to follow if they come to a shortfall. We always tell our United Way agencies, if something changes throughout the year, you find you're in a hard spot, come back, let's figure out how to tackle it. And so, again, if there was a higher dollar amount, you would see different numbers here. But based on the parameters we were given, this is the recommendation that we bring forward based on the review of the applications and discussions.
Thanks, Heidi. Entertain a motion to approve.
Moved.
Moved and seconded. Is there any public comment on this item? None. Close public comments. Does the council have any questions or comments? Member Collins.
Just want to thank you very much for all the work you do. I'd also like to make a motion tonight for an additional $27,500 taken from our reserves for the 3 mental health programs to be separated how you see fit on each one of the programs. This would be just a one-time offer. I know we have to talk about mental health, and we also we'll talk about the ARPA funds later, but this is now to get things started with everybody. I'd like to make that motion.
So that's an amendment. Councilman Collins?
Yes, that would be an amendment.
Moved and seconded. Public comments on this item? Seeing none, is there any council comments or questions? Member Wendell.
I wanted to clarify that the dollars would be directed project of their behavioral health control, but is now, what is the acronym?
Brookings Behavioral Health and Wellness.
Thank you. Those would be the 3 line items. Is there any thought on how we would?
But we leave that up to Heidi to see what she thought would be the best. And this, goes without taking any money away from anybody else.
Member Tilton Burn.
I would perhaps suggest that we actually if we have the dollars that are plus the dollar amount of 20. That would maybe be my.
Tell me the number again. 27,500.
Yes, if we do 27,500, then that's bringing each one of the entities up to 50% they asked for.
Comments or questions on that, Heidi?
If your guys' math is right, which I trust that it is, because I can't do that in my head,
Okay.
I would feel comfortable with that recommendation.
All right. Other comments?
Well, I think we wanted to do this for as kind of a gesture that we realize that these agencies need help, and there's probably no time that I can remember we've had so many things that have under stress and duress, that people losing loved ones, and there are people worried about being sick and losing their job. I mean, there can't be any more of a pressing time when we need to help people in those situations. So to wait until next year, that's probably not good enough. We want to do something now, and that's why we wanted to do something tonight. But we also think we don't want to necessarily give up on the ARPA funds either. And I think there's some consensus that we may want to fully fund some of these organizations when we get all done. If there's a need, I think we got to take care of the people first. So we'd like to do a lot of other things, but we got to get the people through the crisis first, and then go from there.
Member Brink?
I'm okay with the recommendation to split between the three agencies, but I was curious. I don't remember the detail of the app. We felt that there was a demonstrated level of need that one of the organizations might have over and against the others.
You know, they all do good work, and I would say that there's some similarities between a couple of them, but at the same time, they can do specific things as well that can be done in the community, where one organization may do it this way that will hit a population, and the other organization may do it this way, which hits another population. So I would fully recommend with that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other? Councilmember Wendell?
Thank you, Mayor. I think maybe just a comment that I would share, and I know this is a sentiment a lot of us share. Mental health, support for mental health initiatives has been, I think, a signature issue for the council for a number of years. It's stronger today than it's been any time that I've been serving on the council. I think one of the challenges has been finding a sustainable revenue source. Staffing issues, right? One-time dollars don't help them in major staffing issues. So I think as we think about, problem solving, whether it's ARPA dollars or other dollars, long term, I know that a sustainable funding source that can help them staff up accordingly is going to be a part of that. I just want us to keep that in mind as we try to think of the types of dollars we could deliver in these areas that ideally they after the ARPA dollars sunset and to depend upon city dollars to fill some of their staffing.
Any other questions or comments? All right, we're going to vote on the amendment first.
I am just quick running. Just to see if it's rather the dollar amount or the 50.
What we could do is send your motion to fund the agencies you would call out at half of your reserves. That would
Council is comfortable, would be comfortable with. I just don't know if we don't think it's off by. It's 27,000 exactly instead of 27.5.
Right.
In looking at the numbers now, I think that 27. Yep. Quick right. Math. Yep.
Okay.
I did it quick and then I double checked.
Okay, are we all in agreement on this amendment now then, the way it's written? Call the roll on the amendment.
Niemeyer.
Aye.
Byrne.
Aye.
Wendell.
Aye.
Avery.
Aye.
Bacon.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Collins.
Aye.
Okay, with the amendment in place, is there any discussion on your motion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Byrne.
Aye.
Wendell.
Aye.
Avery.
Aye.
Bacon.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Collins.
Aye.
Niemeyer.
Aye. Passes. All right, item 9A, public hearing and action on Ordinance 22-002, amending Chapter 94, zoning pertaining to Section 94-125.7, Residence R1D, single family, for the purposes of adding regulations for single family small lot and single family 0 feet side yard. 2 units small lot is permitted special uses. Mike Struck, our Community Development Director, will review this item.
Mayor and council and members of the public, this ordinance before you tonight is amending our zoning ordinance, in particular to the residence R1D regulations to allow for small lot development. proposal, provides for, as a permitted use, a lot that would be 500 square feet. There's reasons for the permitted, use is there's specific area that they would need to meet, and as long as they meet the area, it's a use that they can do or allowed to do by right. And so a couple of those criteria is one of the frontages shall abut upon an alleyway. Garages are located in the rear yard. Access drives would be prohibited in the front yard with the exception of lots. In this case, frontage with the greatest length would be allowed to have that access drive. The primary reason for this is and opportunities, lots, higher density, help ability issues, providing this opportunity. Hiring it of anybody, but if a developer wants to explore this, the opportunity is available. Ways we can kind of, based on the home, is by moving garages to the rear. On a garage on the front of the home, lot of this size, it pretty much emphasis because so this provides an opportunity that they can do a detached garage with the initial build, or at a time when it's really an opportunity to provide some flexibility within our zoning. And we did the same thing, family attached 0-foot side yard. That 0-foot side yard is the common wall scenario. And front yard setbacks, a little bit closer to the street, driveways, yard, a little bit of a yard in the front, but you give you as a unanimous recommendation of the development review team. And for any questions that you may have.
Mike, open the public hearing on this item. Is there any public comments or questions? Okay.
I'm speaking both as a, private resident and the executive director of the Brookings Area Habitat for. I urge your adoption. Apologies. I urge your adoption of this. This would allow developers, both nonprofit and profit developers, to maximize the efficiency of the land that is available to us. You are all painfully aware the land that is available to us is rapidly becoming shrinking. This will allow us to address affordability as land and its cost and the cost of its development is our principal barrier to affordability. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public questions or comments? Public hearing? A motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any council questions or comments? Member Bacon.
Thank you for all your work on this. That we haven't had. Brings some affordability. Unfortunately, our costs are still so high that affordable is a term, but at least with these will be available to.
Comments from the council? I have one. Back maybe one turn here. Or you had the graphic? Yeah. Okay, minimum side yard, 5 feet. Does that mean there's homes?
Yes.
I wanted to understand it. Patty and I and Kelly live, a lot of our lots are 50. We're in there. And so these lots aren't much smaller than that. relatively close to each other. I know I've got a garage right next to mine, that's a 5-foot thing, so, I, I'm, hopefully we can open up some developments that utilize our property and use that we have, so.
Proposal is very similar to how the core of Brookings was frontages or depths may be that grid patterns, depths and lower lots and very similar to the grid pattern in the
Mike, any other comments or questions? City Clerk, please call the roll.
Wendell? Avery?
Aye.
Bacon?
Aye.
Brink?
Aye.
Collins?
Aye.
Niemeyer?
Aye.
Tilton Burn?
Aye.
Passes. Item 9B, public hearing and action on ordinance 22-003, rezone within the joint jurisdiction area, Outlet C, 3823 Main Avenue South, and Outlet D, portions of 3901 Main Avenue South, and the northwest quarter of the southeast quarter of Section 11, Township 109 North, Range 50 West. Joint jurisdiction residence R3A, multiple family, and mobile home district to joint jurisdiction business B3 heavy district. Community Development Director will review this item.
This ordinance 22-003 is a rezoning area south of town, area that historically has been Southbrook Mobile Home Park. Two lots that you can see on that are highlighted in yellow. Those are the areas that are proposed for the rezoning. Directly adjacent area, property directly south of it and directly north of it, and then west is also B. East is R3A area, and then across. Based upon the it's appropriate to rezone this developer plans corridor. This come to you as a unanimous recommendation from both the city and staff is supportive of the rezoning request, and we would stand may have.
Any public comments? Fine, close the public comments. Entertain a motion to approve. Second, does the council have any questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Avery?
Aye.
Bacon?
Aye.
Brink?
Aye.
Collins?
Aye.
Niemeyer?
Aye.
Tilton Burn?
Aye.
Wendell?
Aye.
Passes. Item 9C, public hearing and action on ordinance 22-004, permit on conditional use in apartment building on Outlet E, 139th Street. 100 feet of Outlet F in Parkdale Home Addition, and the north 100 feet of lots 6 and 7 in Block 5 of Oilos Addition, 124 9th Street. My Community Development Director will review this item.
Got it right. It's fine. So ordinance 22-004 is a ordinance for a conditional use to establish a 4-unit apartment building. Applicants own both lots. They've houses on the lots. We would like to, and they were looking at 4-unit apartment concept, but not be over. There's a conditional use process requirement in the R2 district apartments. And there's a couple of criteria that are evaluated that they, should be located so that they don't create a negative impact on the adjacent properties, and then also that the parking areas shall be designed to minimize any impact. They are going to have attached garages for each of the attached garages. Parking that'll be on the west side of the building. Have ample their area. The one concern that we've worked through with the applicants and staff approved prior to issuance. At the time that they were submitting this, and done in the elevation. So they've been working with staff on ways that they could flow that water towards the street. This does come as unanimous recommendation from the planning and the development review team. And stand for any questions you may have.
So moved.
Second.
Four units. So I remember if they're looking at two of them might be 3 bedrooms and 4 units total.
Bacon,
Aye.
Brink,
Aye.
Collins,
Aye.
Niemeyer,
Aye.
Hildenburn,
Aye.
Wendell,
Passes. Item 9D, public hearing and action on ordinance 22005, permit by conditional use in office building on outlets B and S of section 23, township 110 north, range 50 west. My community development director will review this item.
Thank you. The area tonight is for a conditional use permit to establish an office building in a residential R2 zoning district. The area is referred to as the First Lutheran Church, and they've been working with some nonprofits. The office location house United Way, the Food Pantry, Backpack Program, and in attendance. They have spent a considerable amount of time over the past year working on this site in this location. As you can see where the facility will be located. Area that need to be met. Along an arterial or collector street, they satisfy that requirement. Traffic, they've been working very closely with the church. Really, the so they've had primary access from Harvey office staff and that may be bringing food to the facility. That's expected to occur, trucks back to the neighborhood. They're maybe a little bit larger than what you'd quite often. But from a traffic perspective, we wanted to make sure that you didn't have any of that go on in the church. Hours of operation with United Way there, they'll be staffing the facility during normal. Some of the nonprofits, they do have volunteers. Some of the receiving as well as the items getting them program and things like that. As far as from a landscaping, you can see the plan that's showing working with a cross agreement with the church to use south of this facility but north of the playground area as overflow parking. The building is a single-story office type materials on the building. That you see on the is something that we feel is very compatible. This come to you with a unanimous recommendation from the Planning Commission and the Development Review Team. Any questions you may have?
Like, am I interpreting the drawing of the parking correctly, such that the trucks that would come in and deliver, there's not a way for them to get through? They come in on Harvey Dunn, they are not exiting on 8th.
That is correct. And so that was by design because we didn't want action with church. That would be the primary entrance in the north half. Encourage patrons to come. However, they do recognize their traffic. Will be a clear separation between the traffic that would be picking up or going to.
Basically fully separated.
Correct, with
So
curb. Yep.
no through traffic is going to
Correct.
go, okay.
Exciting. It's a need that we've had for a very long time, and to make this a reality, it's make it easier for the agencies.
Mayor, can you just confirm that this facility were to change hands at some point and have a different intended purpose, they'd have to go through a new permitting process? The new tenant would have to go through a new permitting process?
Well, it could continue to be utilized as an office building, but if they were to change the use from an office building, will be consistent with this situation. The church is retaining ownership of the land. They'll always have control over what really is occurring. Will not own the structure, but they will have the land lease. R2 district, it is restrictive as far as for other dominant use that you can not something that you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? None, please call the roll.
Brink?
Aye.
Collins?
Aye.
Niemeyer?
Aye.
Tilton Burn?
Aye.
Wendell?
Aye.
Avery?
Aye.
Bacon?
Aye.
Passes. Item 9E, public hearing and action on ordinance 22-006. Ordinance amending Chapter 94 zoning and Chapter 60 planning pertaining to sections 94-42 through 94-45 and section 13 through 66-16, authorizing the Planning Commission to act as a board of adjustment. Mike, Community Development Director, has this one also.
Thank you. This ordinance is really just cleaning up language, made that transition to Board of Adjustment as their committee and incorporating that into the Planning Commission. Some of those roles and responsibilities within the plan. So this is taking word for word language, the ordinance, and putting it 66, which is our plan roles and responsibilities. It's really just moving it to another, didn't change anything. After this, and as a unanimous recommendation from the planning.
Right. Public hearing on this item. Is there any public comments? I will close the public hearing. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. Is there any council questions or comments on this item? None. Please call the roll.
Collins?
Aye.
Niemeyer?
Aye.
Tilton Burn?
Aye.
Wendell?
Aye.
Avery?
Aye.
Bacon?
Aye.
Brink?
Aye.
Passes. 10, other business. Item 10A, action on resolution 22-013. Resolution authorizing the Shangri-La, South Dakota, LLC, DBA Shangri-La Dispensary as a medical cannabis dispensary in the city of Brookings. Bonnie Foster, our city clerk, will review this item for us.
Mayor, council members, and members of the public, a medical cannabis dispensary application has been received from Shangri-La LLC. The applicants are Kapal Patel, Neville Patel, TJ Cameron, and Todd Voss. This dispensary is to be located at 129 and 131 Main Avenue South, with proposed construction of a new building at this location. The property is currently owned by applicant Todd Voss. As per City Ordinance 21028, council action is required to approve or deny these applications. The city manager, city staff have reviewed and determined all requirements have been satisfied. An inspection of the facility prior to opening will be required. Staff recommends approval.
Entertain a motion to approve.
Move.
Second.
Second, is there any public comment on this item? State your name and your address, ma'am. When you get to the mic. I know.
Hattie Dexter,
Put your mic down so people are...
lot 93.
Thank you.
I don't know what to say. I feel bad. All the crap that's been done to me since I've been saying that this is Nineveh. Now you're pulling this. You not know God is going to wash us away in America? I got a question. Why are those ships out there at sea? Tell me why those ships are out there at sea. I want to get into America. We ruined Israel. This is all biblical. Read chapter 17 and 18 of Revelation. We are right there. We have one day a year to pray nationally. We need to pray 1 hour a day or we're going to be wiped out. We are the mystery Babylon, and we are coming against our Israel. Everybody overlooks that. Matthew 24, 25, Revelation 17 through 19. Right there. Didn't do anything. I feel bad for you. Churches are already gone through. There's been separation. Come and go. I'm telling you guys the truth. I feel bad for you. God's going to start working with you. We need to get up. We need to support Christian home. Anybody that's a Democrat and likes abortions, do you not know that's devil worshiping? You guys know that? You're sacrificing.
Ma'am, could you keep your comments towards the item at hand?
I am. That's a drug. Any drug
Okay.
or alcohol that makes your mind not normal, hurts your mind, is evil. That's why all this psychiatrist stuff I heard about mental illness, you know what they need to do is get those people into. We are fighting a battle here. Drugs, these alcohol, it ruins our minds. I looked into it, knowing about it and doing it. As I'm telling you, we need to start praying and getting America back to normal. Yes, I believe in Trump. Let's make America great again. I come against that. Let's try to make America humble before God, before he destroys us. Drugs and alcohol are a major factor.
Your comments. Are there any comments, please?
Hi, TJ Cameron, 2821 East Daybreak Circle, Brandon, South Dakota, but longtime resident of Brookings. I just want to thank the council, acknowledge Ms. Patty's comments, and appreciate the fact that you guys listened to everybody that's in attendance. Here representing Shangri-La, if you have any questions, we're fully prepared to, handle the security and proper access to medical marijuana. My father, I watched die of cancer, and in his last several months of being alive, he was on very heavy doses of opioids. So I can relate to Ms. Patty's comments regarding, the impact of certain drugs on individuals. But my son at the time was 1 year old, and my father at the time, outside of my control, decided to bring in cannabis pills, on his own accord. And for the last 3 months of his life, I got to experience him having conversations with his grandson, who was a year old, got to hold his grandson. And even though my son was only a year, at 2 or 3, some of his first words were "Bampa." So he has some kind of memory of my father at the time. So I saw the positive impact. It's definitely not a healing drug, but it's an alternative to what I believe are more wicked type drugs and controlled substances. So thank you. And as a longtime resident of Brookings, I'm really proud of this facility. This is the first time I've ever been here for a council meeting. And living in Brandon, I often compare, Brookings to Brandon, as Brandon's a growing community, and I'll be running for mayor in Brandon. And I'm very, very proud of this facility. So congratulations to each and every one of you up here in the city as a whole.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Cameron? I have one. Can you
Yes,
kind of
sir.
describe the building a little bit? I know that the 2 homes that are there are not going to be there anymore. You're going to build a new building?
Right. So Todd's been working with Mike Struck as far as the actual whether we'll run north and south or east or west on the property. I know that they've had recent conversations on that, but the facility itself, I believe the way we're leaning towards it, it'll run east and west, but there's ample parking between what's currently the casino that's located next door that Todd owns and the 2 lots. There's a lot of parking. It's just a matter of whether they're going to run the building north or south or east or west. There is a site plan and building in the application itself that shows the interior securities. Signing will all meet, ordinance regulations as far as the amount of signing. I can tell you that as minority partners, Todd and I are in this organization, Shangri-La has very, very, very high standards, and I think the community will be really proud of the look of the organization. Building being brand new and nice construction will fit very nice. I particularly think about that awesome building across the street with the condos and things that are very modern. Going to fit in very, very nice. I'm 100% confident in that.
Any other questions or comments? No other questions or comments?
Hello, 1014 Circle Drive. I just want to show support for this. I moved here from Oregon, so I'm very familiar with these facilities. I just think they're generally good. It's nice to have, space. I've always had good experiences with them. Safe, secure facility. Actually, thank you.
Thank you. Other comments or questions from the public? Public hearing, any comments or questions from council? None, please call the roll.
Niemeyer.
Aye.
Byrne.
Aye.
Wendell.
Aye.
Avery.
Aye.
Bacon.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Collins.
Aye.
Passes. All right. Time to review upcoming council meeting agenda items. We do have informational meeting next week. Sustainability Council, update on the city, county building stormwater garden. Mark Drew will be here to present their workforce housing project we'll have down on 7th and 15th. And SDSU Economic Impact Report. Are there any other council members that have something that they would like in the future agenda? Seeing none. Move on. Item 12, we will go into executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2.3 for purposes of counsel and reviewing communications from legal counsel about proposed or pending litigation or contractual matters, and SDCL 1-25-2.5 for purposes of marketing or pricing strategies by board or commission of a business owned by the state or any of its political subdivisions. Public discussion may be harmful to the competitive position of the business. Entertain a motion to enter an executive session.
Moved.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes. We'll move this portion of the meeting in executive session room. There will be no action following the executive session.